I was at home. My house is north into Tel Aviv in Kfar Yona, something like 30 minutes north into Tel Aviv. And at 6:30, it started with ringing of the home front command application that signals for alerts. And at first I thought it's an error because it's Simchat Torah morning. No way that there are missiles in Israel. But only after a few minutes I understood that it's not a mistake. During this time in Zikim, I had one company out of 8. Usually we have 8 companies, but most of them were in the vacation for the holiday, so they were at home. And on this morning, we had a company of something like 120 new recruits. Only 22 of them are commanders with minimal experience. Only one of them, the company commander, was experienced under fire. So we have a very young platoon commanders and squad commanders, sergeants, and second lieutenants. All of them are very young. They only finished their training something like 2 months ago, and they managed to get to this role and to accept the new recruits. And these new soldiers are only 2 months in the army, very young, unexperienced fully. By 7 or 7:15, I understood that there is a serious thing in Zikim. Usually we don't have missiles on Zikim. Usually the missiles are passing Zikim, going to Ashkelon, to Ashdod, maybe to Tel Aviv, or even north into that, but not in Zikim. And at the first 45, 60 minutes, I got a lot of notifications from my staff there that there are shells and missiles that actually bombing the base. And I understood that there is a serious battle there. I didn't understand at the first hour that there is also a ground battle with terrorists that cross the border from the sea and from the fence, from the border. But after an hour, we understood that there is a massive attack of all the part of the western Negev and also the settlements around the Gaza Strip. We didn't understand the magnitude. It took a few hours that we the senior commanders, understand that there is a massive offensive all over the strip. But we indeed understood that there is also a ground offensive. So I started getting out of my house. My driver is also a young soldier. He lived in Netanya. It's very close to Kfar Yona. I called him. I told him that I'm coming and to take him, and that we are about to go to Ramle. Ramle is the headquarters where my most of the staff of the brigade, of the headquarters of the brigade, are stationed. So I plan to come here to take my my gun, my equipment, my jeep, and to get to Zikim as soon as possible to participate in the battle. During my drive from Kfar Yona to Zikim, on the morning of the holiday of Simchat Torah, I got a few calls from my battalion commanders. All of them were stationed in the Judah and Samaria, different strongholds. And they told me that they are starting also mobilized from the West Bank to the Gaza Strip to get to Zikim and to help me. The most incredible phone call was from the commander of Zikim base, which lives here in Sderot. A week before the battle, he had a new baby born, which is only 7 days old on the day of the battle. So his wife with his newborn baby were at her in-laws' house, and he was with his 2 young kids, 4 and 6, that's it, in his house in Sderot. So when I just got out of my home and I called him and I told him, come to Zikim, we'll meet there and we'll fight, he told me, I'm opening the window and I can count 16 terrorists with AK-47s under my house in trucks. And I understood that if he walks out of his house, he will be slaughtered. As simple as that. And I told him, I command you to stay at home and I'll get there by myself. So we sent one of our battalion commanders to Sderot, and he rescued this commander and his family also. And another battalion commander, which lives in Abu Snan. Abu Snan is almost in the Israeli northern border next to Nahariya. He also was at weekend vacation for the holiday, and the both of us started to drive really fast from our homes to Zikim. And when we understood that the commander of the Zikim base can't come, and we understand that there are a lot of barricades between Beersheba and Zikim, we understood that only from the north we can get there because the other roads were blocked. And we hit the road, and I'm talking about 130 miles per hour, driving like crazy from the northern part of Israel to Zikim. Once we got there, we understood that the battle is in three different locations. First one is from the border. This is the border between Israel and the Gaza Strip. The second is from the beach. And the third is from the east side of the base, because the terrorists came from three different places. Around Zikim, what we call Zikim, we have the kibbutz, we have the base, and we have the beach. So all around the perimeter of Zikim, there were more than 100 terrorists that came in 4 different ways and started moving to 3 different places. And on Zikim, defending only 120 soldiers, which, as I mentioned, almost 90 of them are new recruits with no experience and no sense of getting into battle. And the rest of them, the commanders, are also very young and unexperienced. When I came from the road, it was almost 9 a.m. The battle started at 7:30. The commanders of the base were in 5 different posts. The rest of the company was in blocks are used to sleep. And the rest of the base is actually empty. So I came from the road and I was without nothing. I came straight from home. Once I understood that there is a ground battle on Zikim, I skipped off Ramle. I didn't take my gear, my weapon, my jeep. I just came with my original car. And I was without nothing, only the uniform to my body. Then we got to this road. On this road, I was amazed, overwhelmed to see vehicles, civilian vehicles, obviously, that came from the beach. Once the terrorists landed on the beach, the civilians tried to escape to this road. And here also terrorists waited and ambushed them and actually slaughtered them. So I saw a few vehicles, including one military vehicle, just on the shoulders of the road, and I saw a lot of bodies on the road. I didn't understand what I see at first, because obviously it wasn't a car accident, even not a mass car accident. Obviously it was an ambush. And for a second there, I actually waited to get also shot by someone from one of these bushes from the both sides of the road. And actually what happened, that I passed this road, I don't know how, nobody shot me. I don't have explanation until today. And then I got to the main gate. On the main gate, there were a few soldiers, very frightened. They almost shot me themselves because they didn't understand who I am. The young soldiers don't know who is the brigade commander. But one of the squad commanders that was also posted on this gate saw that it's me, and he opened the gate. And then when he opened the gate, I got inside to the entrance of the base. And on this second, actually, the battle on Zikim for me started. It started that I got to understand what happened from one of the officers that was there also. And 10 minutes later, 2 more majors that came from the center of Israel, from Rishon LeZion, joined me. And together we were a very small team. And we started to advance from the main gate to the shooting range gate. And for us, the way we understood the situation inside the base is all full with terrorists. We didn't know where are they, because the base is very, very big. So we started to scan it, and we first got to the male safe room. It's a place where the commanders actually put all the soldiers that weren't experienced in order to save them. And in this safe room, I was very surprised to meet a rabbi. I told him, "What are you doing here, Rabbi?" And he told me, "I came to be with my family to celebrate the holiday with the soldiers, to help them with the service, to help them with the holiday meal, and we're here." And I told him, "Okay, how many of your family members are here?" And he told me, "My wife and all my 8 children." And his wife was a nurse. She is still a nurse, the Rebbetzin. And at the first shooting, at the beginning of the battle, she tried to help one of the sergeants that was injured, and she was injured also herself by the bullets of the terrorists. So she was shot. She got shot in 3 different spots in her belly, and she was very severe wounded. So I have a family of 10 civilians in the middle of a battlefield, in the middle of a base that is attacked. And I saw a lot of something like 80 young soldiers, very frightened. Some of them were crying, some of them were wiping, some of them were in shock. And I don't see any commander. And then it was the first time that someone told me that the commanders actually are at the post. It means that the company commander, in a very, very brave and very intelligent decision, decided on the beginning of the battle that all the commanders will go to the posts. They will replace the young soldiers, the unexperienced soldiers, and then they locked the young, unexperienced soldiers in 2 different safe rooms. We have safe rooms for male and female. So in this place where it's written male safe room, we have in 2 different rooms something like 80 to 90 new recruits. We have the family of the rabbi. And then I discovered that on the sea gate, we also have 20 civilians that managed to save from the beach, because on the beach there was a small party of 50 people, more or less. The first terrorists that landed on the beach, they slaughtered something like 20, 25, and the rest of them managed to run to the sea gate. So I have also 20 civilians in the sea gate, guarded by only 1 commander. I have 4 commanders in the shooting range gate and 6 commanders in Vav post. These young soldiers, young squad commanders, young platoon commanders, they saved the day because they were fought with the terrorists for almost an hour and a half before I just came there. And they managed to defend the base. They managed to avoid from the terrorists to get inside the base. Only 1 terrorist managed to get inside. It was the one that shot the rabbi's wife, the Rebbetzin, and managed to kill another one new recruit. But then the soldiers killed him immediately. So during the scanning of the base, I found eventually 7 dead soldiers from this company. The company commander, his deputy, 2 platoon commanders, 1 squad commander, the driver of the company, and 1 new recruit. Beside them, we had 10 commanders and soldiers that were injured from the many fire and many shots that the terrorists shot at them from the different directions of the base. The base actually was attacked from 4 different directions. And when I got there with a few of my officers that came from home with me, we managed to kill the rest of the terrorists that were surrounding the base. We managed to take care of the wounded, and we managed to save them. During the evacuation of the wounded, that was under heavy fire of missiles and shots and shells and you name it, to the main gate of the base came a civilian, a volunteer, very brave, from Zikim the kibbutz. And he put his truck and he told me, "If you have wounded, I can take them." So I took 2 wounded commanders from the battle and I put them on the truck. You can't close the back door of the truck, so it was an extreme danger that the stretchers will fall down from the truck while it's driving back to Ashkelon, where we have the closest hospital called Barzilai. So I picked 2 soldiers, very brave. I told them, "Jump on the truck with your left hand. Just put it on the truck and hold yourself. When with your right hand, you need to hold the wounded. You need to hold the stretcher and to avoid it from falling down to the floor, because if it will happen during the driving, of course, they will die. And these two very brave soldiers escorted the wounded, by the way, without weapons. So if they would have ambushed, they would have also killed on the way. It was a very dangerous road. Noa Zevi is one of the very famous stories from the Zikim battle. She was shot in her left eye, and the bullet penetrated the brain and blowed her skull. On the first time when I saw her lying in one of the barracks in the company blocks, I thought she is dead. After something like 40 minutes, one of my officers noticed that she is alive, and we decided to take her with this truck. And believe me, I didn't see for my whole life as a commander. I'm 25 years serving at the IDF, and I didn't see in my life someone that is getting shot in their head and they managed to survive. So she was shot in her head and her skull was blown, and she survived this drive. She got to the hospital. From Barzilai in Ashkelon, they took her to Jerusalem to a special surgery that she needed to have in her head. And today we have Noa alive. The happy part of it is that last week she had a very complicated surgery that actually completed her head with a special part that was printed from a special polymer in Switzerland. And she is walking and talking and fully functioning, kind of a miracle. And it's only one out of a few dozens of stories from this battle, because on this battle 4 different commanders got shot in their head. All of them survived. The Rebbetzin survived, and we managed to take out all the wounded and to give them a good treatment that saved their lives. These are the 7 dead soldiers and officers from this battle. The left picture is Adir Abudi, Zichrono Livracha, is the company commander. On his right, it's Or Moses, his deputy. In the center of the picture, the 2 platoon commanders, both of them died together in the same post from an RPG rocket. Here on the right and up picture, we can see Omri Niv Feierstein, which is the driver of the company. On the right side, from the bottom, we can see Neria, which was the only recruit that was killed in this battle. And on the left and the bottom picture, we can see Eden Alon Levi, which was the squad commander that was died. All 7 of them were part of very heroism battle that managed to prevent the terrorists to get inside Zikim. To the other strongholds around Zikim, also a lot of terrorists came and attacked, and we had a few dozens of young soldiers that were died during these battles. And all around Zikim, we had a lot of casualties, unfortunately. We used to say in the IDF that we failed on the morning of October 7th because we didn't keep on our mission to defend the Israeli society. We failed, we admit it. But very, very soon after we got surprised by this mega offensive of Hamas, we managed to attack back. And this offensive of the IDF is still ongoing inside the strip. And we're very proud of what we do, even today. The Battle of Zikim ended exactly by 2:15 p.m. I called the general, the Home Front Command General. I told him that we killed all the terrorists, we evacuated all the wounded and the dead. And we thought for a few minutes that it was the end of the day, and it was only the beginning. My units went to assist all the near settlements, Derot and Ofakim, and a few kibbutzim. The most famous one is Be'eri. We took part of evacuation Be'eri under heavy fire, under a threat of getting shot from any point in any house in Be'eri, because there were dozens of terrorists inside Be'eri and Kfar Aza and others. And meanwhile, we got orders to evacuate something like 30 different settlements around the Gaza Strip and 50 other settlements in the northern border. And we did it in several days. And I think that the 5 first days were like one very, very long day for us, because we rescued and we evacuated and we went from south to north and backwards, and all the search and rescue brigade took a huge effort in order to save all these citizens, because the IDF first mission is to defend the people of Israel. That's it. And that's what we did for the first 5 days. And then we started to prepare the offensive. For all the days of the war, we felt very good the support of the Jewish communities from all around the world, but especially from the FIDF. It was a great mix of emotions. It was fear, to admit. It was determination. It was fully understanding that I'm going inside a battle, so it's going to be extremely rough. And I understood some way around Ashkelon that I'm actually going inside a battle without a weapon. All I had in my head was that I need to be with my soldiers in the front, and there is no way that I will let them fight and I'll left behind. And in the IDF, we believe that the commanders always need to be in the front and defend their soldiers while fighting the terrorists. I think that the situation in Israel is that in every house, you know someone that is inside the strip, is in the northern border, is risking his life in some way. So the atmosphere here is of great pride and a great resilience, because we know that it's for a very good cause. We know that we came here to win this war, whatever it takes, and we are willing to do it for many, many months from now, including the northern enemy we have, the Hezbollah. So there is nothing to worry about for the resilience and the ability of the IDF, believe me.